Well, hi, and welcome to the Jackalope Postcard Museum. My name's Sean, and today we're going to be looking at the giant jackalope. Now, as you can see, this jackalope is large enough to hold a man, and according to the caption here, roundup time, these jackalopes are domesticated and used in the care of livestock. Here's another example on a larger and scalloped-edged postcard. Now, something that's very interesting about this particular pose is that it's a fake. Here is a regular-sized jackalope, and as you can see, the image has been flipped and doctored to look like it's a giant jackalope. Now, there's something else very important about this pose. It's one of the very few examples you'll see of a correct jackalope, meaning a jackrabbit and an antelope. This is a jackrabbit with the horns of an antelope, which is not something you see very often. Usually it's different kinds of rabbits with the horns of a mule deer. Now, here we have another illustration. This is cowboy punching cattle on the jackalope. This is a very common theme with giant jackalopes. They're usually put to work on ranches. But interestingly enough, on the back of this card, it's a little hard to read, but it actually says they have never been captured alive. But obviously, here's one that's been captured and is in use. It's a bit of a strange discrepancy on this postcard. And here again, working with cattle is the giant jackalope. This one is apparently Godzilla-sized. Not sure what the practical use of that would be. And here we have our first photograph of a jackalope with a man and a horse in a corral. And it looks very lifelike. Here is that same jackalope, I believe, this time being ridden by a woman over the plains of Wyoming. And you can see the jackalope appears to have real fur. On the back of this card, it informs you that if you were to look at the wildlife exhibit in Du Bois, Wyoming, that you could get your picture taken on this jackalope for free. That's pretty exciting. Next, we have saddling up Big Jack. Again, here he is working on a ranch. Now, this postcard leads me to, frankly, a problem in the jackalope postcard collecting community. If you look at websites where they sell jackalope postcards, and it's a giant jackalope, more often than not, it actually won't be a jackalope. It'll be just a giant rabbit, mislabeled as a jackalope. This very postcard, in fact, has a version without the antlers, and it's just a giant rabbit. I don't know why this problem is so prevalent, but if you are collecting giant jackalopes, make sure that there are antlers. Finally, here's another working jackalope in this beautiful illustration of a cowboy in Nebraska. Now, here's an example of a postcard I don't have, another woman riding a jackalope. And here's one that's available on Etsy. Normally, I don't include Etsy postcards as real postcards, but I think this one actually was commissioned for a real postcard sale. But as you can see, it's a beautiful image of a giant jackalope. This one not working on a farm. Well, thank you for visiting the Jackalope Postcard Museum, and I hope you enjoyed our look at giant jackalopes.